For over a century, the story of the Americas has been told through a single lens, a tale of ice and land bridges, where ancient Siberians crossed the Bering Strait and slowly fanned out across the continents. But what if this narrative, as iconic as it is, tells only part of the story? What if the roots of American settlement stretch back further, deeper, and across vast oceans? Let's explore the mysterious and extinct Périku tribe of Baja California, who may hold the key to rewriting the foundation myth of the Americas. This tribe of extinct Native Americans lived at the southernmost tip of the Baja California Peninsula. It was a dead end, 800 miles from the point where the peninsula meets the mainland, a piece of land surrounded by sea on three sides and desert on the other. The Los Cabos region was hostile, arid, and depleted of resources. They were hunter-gatherers rather than farmers, according to Spanish missionaries who visited the area. By the mid-18th century, their numbers had declined and been absorbed by other groups. Their isolation until recently, combined with their primitive or simple lifestyle, makes them ideal candidates for membership in the first wave that settled America. Once it was widely accepted that the Americas were settled by Siberians who migrated across the Bering Land Bridge some 12,000 years ago. But recent discoveries suggest that other groups may have arrived much earlier, following an entirely different route. Isolated at the southern tip of the Baja California Peninsula, the Périku tribe lived in one of the most arid environments imaginable. Surrounded by arid deserts, scorching heat and nutrient-poor soil, they thrived living off the ocean, shaping a maritime culture that left archaeologists and anthropologists with more questions than answers. Today, only whispers of their story remain. Skulls with distinct features, fragments of language, haunting cave paintings, and tantalizing genetic clues. This mysterious and lost tribe of people are the original indigenous inhabitants of southern Baja California Sur, including Cabo San Lucas. They were peacefully living on their lands when the first Spanish settlers arrived in the 1530s. The Périku had a unique and unusual language, but sadly, only 4 words and 10 place names remain today. It is unknown if this was a very ancient remnant language or a language that evolved due to isolation. The Périku's existence was shaped by their unique environment. When the Spanish met them, they noticed a significant difference between them and other local tribes, including a very different language and fast speech. Spanish explorers named the tribe Pericos, which translates to parakeets due to this unique-sounding language, resulting in the modern name Périku. In fact, other tribes in the region refer to them as the addues, which means people with a different language. Their language was initially thought to be related to that of the Guaycura tribe, but that theory is now questionable. The theory was largely based on geographic proximity and the fact that the Guaycura tribe's northern neighbors, the Cochimi tribe, also referred to both groups as people with a different language. They were hunter-gatherers who lived entirely off land and sea resources, with no agriculture unlike many other Native American tribes. They hunted deer and small game with bows and arrows, darts and spear-throwing atlatls, ate pitahaya fruit, and fished with harpoons from wooden rafts propelled by double-bladed paddles. They also fought, sometimes among themselves, but mostly with the neighboring Guaycura tribe. Périku were said to be taller and stronger than the average inhabitants of the region, and great warriors. Today, researchers are piecing together the Périku's extraordinary story. Genetic studies, archaeological digs, and comparisons with Pacific cultures paint a picture of a seafaring people who thrived against all odds. Their journey across oceans and through millennia stands as a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. A recent dig has turned up ancient fish hooks, made of bone which would have been used to fish for deep-sea species of fish. Remarkably, almost identical fish hooks have been found in Japan and Indonesia, dating to as far back as 42,000 years ago. Unlike their northern neighbors, they never practiced agriculture. Instead, they mastered the art of living off the sea, harvesting fish, shellfish, and marine mammals. The Périku were one of the few Aboriginal groups on the California coasts to own watercraft other than tule balsas, using wooden rafts. These wooden rafts, equipped with double-bladed paddles, carried them across the waters, while spears, harpoons, and nets ensured bountiful catches. On land, they foraged for agave, cactus fruit, and hunted small game like deer. Their resourcefulness extended to their tools, bows and arrows, blowguns, and atlatls for spear throwing. Shelter was minimal, reflecting their nomadic lifestyle. In cooler months, they took refuge in caves or constructed makeshift coverings of branches and reeds. During warmer weather, they slept around communal fires under the open sky. Despite their simplicity, the Periku adorned themselves with intricate body paint, necklaces made from shells and pearls, and fiber skirts, a testament to their cultural richness. Their long, narrow skulls, so unlike the rounder crania typical of Siberian-descended tribes, resemble those of ancient populations in Melanesia and Polynesia. Genetic studies further support this connection, linking the Periku to Australian Aborigines and other populations across the Pacific. But how did they reach the Americas? Some experts hypothesize that they traveled by boat, hopping between islands and skirting Pacific coastlines, at a time when sea levels were lower. This journey likely took place 25,000 to 35,000 years ago, predating the last ice age and opening up a new chapter in human migration. Their route, a daring odyssey around the rim of the Pacific, culminated in the remote lands of Baja California. This alternative theory doesn't dismiss the Bering land bridge hypothesis, but instead enriches it, suggesting multiple waves of migration that contributed to the peopling of the Americas. Some anthropologists claim that some members of the Indian race had come by sea to America from Melanesia. In fact, a work on the Periku, which was published in 1909, shows a morphological relationship between the Periku, the race of Lagoa Santa in Brazil, and the Yagan tribe of Tierra del Fuego, using statistics, graphic comparisons, and other illustrative material. As a matter of fact, this old study may not have been too far off, as new genetic evidence seems to confirm this close relationship. Indeed, the Yagan tribe of Tierra del Fuego in Patagonia are the nearest true blood ancestors of the Periku tribe and the Lagoa Santa of Brazil. The mitochondrial haplogroup D4H3A has a coastline distribution along the Pacific Ocean, from Alaska to California and Tierra del Fuego, which we shall discover later in the video to be a crucial fact. Haplogroup D4H3A is notable for being one of the few haplogroups found among indigenous peoples of the Americas that supports a coastal migration route for the initial peopling of the New World. It is particularly prevalent among indigenous populations of the Pacific coast of North and South America. The remains of a male infant, approximately 12,600 years old, associated with the Clovis culture, were discovered in Montana. Genetic analysis revealed that ANZIC1 belonged to mitochondrial haplogroup D4H3A, supporting the theory of early human migration from Asia into the Americas. Haplogroup D4H3A is most strongly associated with coastal migrations and has been identified in ancient remains from Alaska, coastal British Columbia, and the interior regions of the Americas, including ANZIC1. As mentioned, Periku's skulls are long and narrow, while other local tribes in the Americas have wide and round skulls. Genetic analysis of their skulls indicates that their ancestors are more closely related to ancient populations in southern Asia, Australia, and the South Pacific Rim than Siberians. They also have very distinctive cave paintings, depicting a snake with a deer head and a forked tail crawling among people, which researchers have discovered to be similar to Aboriginal art found in North Australia. As we uncover more about the Periku, their tale not only deepens our understanding of the past, but also serves as a poignant reminder of the complexity and diversity of human migration. The Periku were not just survivors of their environment, they were pioneers of the seas, adventurers who charted a course through uncharted waters to find a home at the edge of the world. In summary, the Periku had a strong affinity for the ocean and are known for their exceptional sailing and fishing abilities. As stated, they had advanced maritime technology for their time, with wooden rafts and double-bladed paddles. An examination of their skulls reveals that they were frequent divers and suffered from surfer's ear. They relied on the ocean for sustenance, eating fish, shellfish, and marine mammals, supplemented by agave and deer. They created stone-pointed arrows as well as nets, spears, harpoons, and fishhooks. The Periku used rock shelters, caves, and makeshift coverings made of branches or reeds instead of permanent dwellings. In warmer weather, they slept on the ground around a communal campfire, with a rotating watch to keep the fire going. Despite being exposed to Europeans, the men chose to go naked, albeit with adornments such as body painting and necklaces strung with berries, shells, and burned black pearls. The women were slightly more modest, wearing grass skirts and animal skins. A final note. Commenting that Native Americans don't have any more claim to be native to the Americas fails to consider the unique relationship indigenous people have with their lands based on thousands of years of uninterrupted presence, stewardship, and cultural connection. Thus, arguing that Native Americans aren't native because their ancestors migrated to the Americas is an illogical argument. Ancient migration patterns are part of human history, and virtually every population has moved and settled across different regions over time. Native Americans have profound, continuous, and culturally specific connections to their lands that go far beyond the simplistic idea of first arrival.